When we first walked into these halls, CECOT was a powerful symbol across Latin America. But now since folks in the US are far more familiar with what's happening here because it has a direct connection. Last time we were here, there were about 80 or so people per cell, and the director has told me they've increased the prison population because more arrests have taken place.
What if I told you there's a prison so massive, so merciless, that even the guards are afraid? A place designed not just to contain criminals, but to break them. This isn't a dystopian nightmare. This is real, and it's called CECOT. Officially named the Centro de Confinamiento del Terrorismo, or Terrorism Confinement Center, CECOT is the largest prison in the Americas. Built in a remote valley in Tecoluca, El Salvador in 2022 under President Nayib Bukele.
Para los que ya están en la delincuencia, pues tenemos que ponerlos en la cárcel. No hay otra forma.
It was constructed in under a year with one purpose: to silence El Salvador's most dangerous gang members forever. Over 70,000 people have been arrested in just 16 months, nearly 2% of the country's adult population.
Si alguien creía que la delincuencia le podía ganar la batalla a El Salvador, estaba equivocado.
And now, for the first time, we're going inside. What we found? It's worse than you think. A monument to control. CECOT isn't just a prison, it's a fortress of fear. The facility spans 410 acres divided into 8 massive modules, each surrounded by towering walls and barbed wire. There are 19 guard towers and an electric fence pulsing with 15,000 volts. Signal jammers block all communication within a 2-kilometer radius. It was designed in secret, constructed at record speed, and launched amid the largest crackdown on organized crime in Latin America's modern history. From day one, the goal was total containment, not just of bodies, but of minds. There are no rehab programs, no parole, no end date, just silence, concrete, and control. To supporters, it's a bold solution to decades of gang violence. To critics, it's a human rights nightmare.
They detain members of the gangs, of course, but innocent people being detained as well. In that context, you don't have the presumption of innocence. In the practice, we have presumption of guilty.
Either way, it has become one of the most controversial institutions on earth. Built for finality, not reform, CECOT is a bunker of psychological warfare. No windows, no privacy, no outside contact, no exit. The prison built for ghosts. This isn't a correctional facility, it's a psychological weapon. Inmates aren't rehabilitated, they're erased. Every prisoner is stripped of name, identity, and autonomy. They receive only a plain white uniform, a pair of shorts, slippers, and nothing more. No mattresses, no pillows, no personal items, just a slab of metal, and the company of 100 other men just as broken. Cells can hold up to 150 inmates and are smaller than most high school classrooms. Ventilation is poor, heat lingers in the air, and in place of beds, cold steel bunks stacked 4 levels high. There is no contact with the outside world. No visits, no letters, no voice from home. Most inmates have no idea what's happening beyond the concrete walls, and their families often don't even know where they've been taken. The facility is sealed in every way imaginable. Surveillance towers scan each module 24/7. Signal jammers prevent any communication. Guards patrol on foot, armed with riot gear. Inside, prisoners shuffle barefoot across floors paved with pebbles, purposely laid to expose any attempted movement with a crunch. Even the architecture speaks of punishment. Narrow corridors, boxed-in yards, claustrophobic ceilings. Inmates cannot see the sky. They don't know if it's day or night. Life and control inside CECOT. Daily life is strictly regimented. Inmates spend 23 hours a day in overcrowded cells. 1 hour a week is granted for outdoor movement, either for monitored exercise or religious instruction. That hour is the only chance prisoners have to stretch their limbs, but it's under heavy guard and constant camera surveillance. There are no yards, just small cement courtyards bordered by high walls. It's exercise in a box. Meals are basic. Beans, rice, and tortillas, eaten with bare hands on the floor. No meat, no protein, no utensils, no plates. The food is dumped into bowls and shoved through the door hatch. Malnutrition is common. Some inmates have lost up to 20 pounds in a matter of weeks.
If they do that, there won't even be one meal in prison.
Uno.
I swear to God, they won't eat a grain of rice. Let's see how long their homeboys last inside.
Hygiene is minimal. There are no showers, just the communal barrel that sits in every cell. It serves every purpose: drinking, washing, bathing. There is no soap, no toothpaste, one toilet for every 80 men, and no privacy. The air is thick with sweat, mold, and human waste. In a place with no airflow, illness spreads quickly, yet medical access is delayed, restricted, or outright denied. Inmates must request care through forms which can take days or weeks to process, if ever. Guards wear black face masks to hide their identities. Some rotate shifts weekly to avoid recognition. Their orders are strict: no engagement, no conversation. If a prisoner speaks out of turn, they're silenced, either through force or isolation.
Can I ask the inmates something?
No. If you have any questions, I can answer them for you.
If they try to communicate with me now, what are you going to do?
I'm not going to allow them. They know from them that subsequently there may be a penalty for not abiding by an instruction.
The isolation module. Break a rule here, and you're sent to the isolation block. But this isn't solitary confinement, it's sensory erasure. The isolation module is located in a separate section of the complex, accessible only through triple security doors. It is soundproofed, sealed, and monitored at all times.
Here we are in the isolation cell area. If inmates break a rule, they can be sent to these isolation cells according to the legislation. The law gives me the right to keep the prisoners in isolation for up to 15 days.
Even the guards say entering the isolation wing feels different: colder, quieter, heavier. No light, no sound, no human contact. Meals are passed through a slot, just a slab of concrete and a hole in the floor. No books, no mattress, just space and silence. Some inmates spend up to 15 days in complete darkness. The effect is devastating. After a few days, the symptoms begin: disorientation, paranoia, hallucinations. Men scream into the void, pace until their feet blister, or talk to themselves endlessly. Some bang their heads against the wall. Others simply go quiet. One former inmate described it as being buried alive, trapped in a coffin with no air and no hope. Guards who monitor isolation cells report hearing incoherent muttering, groans, prayers. By the time the prisoner is released back into the general population, they are a shell of who they were. Many beg not to return to isolation, but they also don't speak out again. Others refuse food. A few have attempted self-harm just to feel something. The tattoos that never die. In CECOT, identity is forbidden, but it lingers in ink. MS-13 and Barrio 18 members are known for their tattoos. Numbers, teardrops, skulls, and devils etched across faces, chests, even eyelids. In CECOT, those tattoos remain visible, deliberately. There are no shirts, no cover. Inmates wear only white shorts and slippers, their skin exposed to enemies and enforcers alike. This is intentional. It forces prisoners to see who they once were, and who surrounds them. A tattoo here is more than body art. It's a target, a flag, a silent scream that says, "This is who I am," or was. Despite no physical contact between modules, whispers and messages still move. Guards report coded hand gestures, inmates mouthing silent commands. Surveillance teams monitor constantly, but gang structures persist, just quieter, more cautious. And when violence erupts on the outside, consequences come quickly.
Esas personas, ¿dónde están exactamente? Eso no lo sabemos. ¿Con qué pandilla los vincularon? ¿A través de qué pruebas? Tampoco, porque todos los juicios son secretos.
Rumors swirl that food has been withheld from entire cell blocks as punishment for killings on the street. Whether true or not, the message is clear: you are not disconnected. You are accountable. The watchers and the walls. CECOT is guarded like a military base because it is one. Over 600 soldiers patrol the exterior perimeter. Inside, more than 1,000 trained personnel operate the complex. From control towers to ground patrols, the entire structure is designed for zero tolerance. Guards are heavily armed. Riot gear lines the walls. Backup squads are stationed at every module. If a fight breaks out, response time is under 60 seconds. Escape is not just unlikely, it's impossible. There have been 0 escape attempts. Surveillance drones fly overhead. Facial recognition scans operate at every checkpoint. Entry requires biometric access. All communications are monitored. Even the floor, laid with gravel, ensures that nobody can move without being heard. The complex is self-sustaining. It has its own generators, water treatment plants, food storage, and emergency medical units. CECOT could go offline from the world for weeks and still function without missing a beat. Psycho speaks. Among the most feared inmates is a man known as Psycho, a gang leader responsible for more deaths than he can remember. Once untouchable on the streets, now just another number behind bars. In a rare, 10-minute supervised interview, he sat cuffed and silent. "This is where it ends," he finally said. "I made choices that can't be undone. Now, this is what's left." He described life at CECOT as a mental war. There's no time here, no night, no day. You sleep, but it's not rest. You eat, but you're still starving. When asked what he would tell younger gang members, he didn't hesitate. They think it's power, but it ends here, forgotten in silence, in hell. Then he paused, looked down. His hands trembled. "You think you're invincible until you're not," he whispered. "We ruled the streets. Now we can't even speak. We were gods to some people. Now we're shadows."
We did bad things. We pay it the rough way, doing time.
The interviewer asked him what scared him most. He stared at the wall and replied, "Waking up tomorrow, because tomorrow is always the same. No change, no end, just light, cold, silence." And then the guard tapped his shoulder. The interview is over. 10 minutes, 10,000 regrets. For a man who once ruled neighborhoods, his final kingdom is a cage with no key.
How do you feel about not seeing your family forever since you're in CECOT?
I feel bad because I seen my son the last time when he was 5 years old, and he's 21 years old right now. I want to see him. I want to tell him, hey, don't do the same things that your dad did.
A nation transformed. Since Bukele's crackdown, El Salvador's murder rate has dropped from 104 per 100,000 in 2015 to just 2.4 in 2023. The transformation is historic.
Es muy difícil llegar a comprender la aflicción y la angustia que generó para un montón de gente tener que vivir bajo el puño cotidiano de estos criminales.
Streets once ruled by gangs now echo with laughter. Tourism is booming. Businesses no longer pay extortion fees. Children play outside again. But the cost has been high. Due process has collapsed. Thousands have been jailed without trial. Legal counsel is often denied. Trials, if held, are quick and closed to scrutiny. Many inmates have never been charged with a specific crime. Families are left in limbo. Mothers searching for sons. Wives waiting for calls that never come. With zero communication allowed, the pain of uncertainty gnaws at those on the outside. Entire communities now live in fear, not of gangs, but of the government. Human rights organizations are alarmed. The United Nations and Amnesty International have condemned CECOT's conditions as cruel and inhumane. El Salvador's government deflects, arguing that the ends justify the means. And for now, the people agree. But dissent grows. Whispers of abuse, photos of bruises, hidden testimonies. The world is watching. Some see a model for success. Others see a warning. Is this the price of peace or the beginning of something darker? El Salvador has changed, but whether that change is justice or suppression remains an open question. The streets may be safer, but the soul of the nation remains locked behind bars. Global attention and controversy. The world is watching. Some governments are fascinated. Could a version of CECOT solve their gang crises? Others are horrified. Is this the future of incarceration or regression into darkness? Delegations from other countries have toured the facility, but under heavy restriction. Journalists are shown curated areas, allowed to film only with escorts. No unsupervised interviews, no unfiltered footage. Still, the message spreads. CECOT works, at least in terms of numbers. Crime is down, streets are safe, but what does it mean for justice?
I've heard about it, that it's a new El Salvador, it looks different.
In a time of rising authoritarianism, CECOT may be more than a prison. It may be a blueprint. CECOT is not a prison. It's a message, a fortress that tells the world, here we do not forgive. Behind its electric fences and faceless guards, identity is erased, memory fades. And the world forgets you were ever here. Justice? Revenge? Control? You decide. If you found this breakdown chilling, hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most extreme institutions. And let us know in the comments, should other countries build prisons like CECOT, or is this a step too far?